Hello and welcome back to On the Workbench. Today we're taking a look at the Sears in Wichita, Kansas. This is one of the stores that Sears is carrying forward as part of their restructuring bid. On our right up here is where a vast array of stationary power tools used to be. They're gone now, and that's where all the storage used to be. Here's the open stock wrenches. If we look down here, we can see the comfort grip screwdrivers that have been released recently. Now we've got a wall of gear wrench and other restorative tools. This used to be much fuller than what it is now. We've got the sad stack here of ratcheting cap and dies. We've got a pry bar set here. Well, this looks familiar. Didn't these used to be made in USA? Oh no, these are now actually made in India, and the striking cap has been removed. Those were actually used to be made by, I believe it's Wild or Wild, with in actually Kansas, if I'm not mistaken, but not anymore apparently. They were too expensive. We've got some timing lights here, screwdrivers, chisels, and punches. These acetate screwdrivers here. Not made in the USA anymore by Western Forge. These are outsourced to China. Over here we got pliers. We got a lot of Vice Grip branded pliers now. Interesting how some of these pliers are not putting Craftsman branding on things. New pliers that came out recently. Shop Vacs. We got a pretty sad state here of other entertainment tools. We've got these bins sitting out here. Empty, barely something here. This is a pry bar set here. One of these is the raised panel. The other one is a round style one here. Stack of screwdriver bits. We got displays that are somewhat partially full. This is the day after Black Friday, just to be fair. Here's the brand new 20-volt cordless system from Craftsman. To be fair, this is the Sears Craftsman 20-volt platform, not to be confused with the Stanley Black & Decker platform that you'll find at Lowe's, which will be a much, much better product to go with than this. I'm not sure why they're selling this and they don't actually get the other one in store, other than they wouldn't have to necessarily pay Stanley Black & Decker maybe as much. I'm not quite sure, but I know there are some royalties that Sears still has to pay, or that Stanley has to pay to Sears. Here's some mowers. We got some of the professional mowers, or the Pro Series mowers, if you will. Really like that wide one there. That I believe that's 30-inch or 31-inch. We've got a Craftsman bandsaw that are right next to it. It's an unbranded Rikon one from the original equipment manufacturer. Just a single drill press. This just seemed really sad. This store was one of the last stores that still sold the granite top professional table saw not that long ago. A selection of hammers. Now has some other unbranded hammers, or at least not branded with the Craftsman name. Our carpenter squares and levels. This store seems just a little bit disheveled in terms of how it's organized and kept clean. Again, this was the day after Black Friday, so maybe that influences this a bit. But the stock just seems relatively low. The spaces are empty. There's not even hooks where something would have been in the clamps. We've got some vices down at the bottom there, some sawhorses, pocket knives, cutting tools. We got one little set of files there. We've got some corded power tools here. Again, this selection used to be much larger if you've been around many Sears lately. And it's just interesting to see how many of these tools no longer actually carry the Craftsman brand. But if you think about it hard enough, you can see what the original equipment manufacturer was providing. Here's the C3 lineup, which I wouldn't advise anyone to buy. And that spot there is just looks very dilapidated. DeWalt 20-volt max tools, probably a pretty good choice here. Ported Craftsman circular saws. Heard good things about those. Just a few saw blades left. Sears used to have one of the best selections of saw blades around anywhere in the tool industry. Only a couple routers, and only a few years back, and Sears had hands down the best router selection of anybody. A couple table saws, a couple miter saws. Again, Sears used to be the unquestioned category leader in some of the best displays and the largest selections of these stationary power tools. This Sears specifically used to sell or at least had on display the full selection of lathes. Here, if you look at the Craftsman Christmas ornaments, this year there's only a single one left for 2018. That used to be everywhere. Aha! Now we actually have some new tools here for the Christmas season for 2018. A mini ratcheting socket set here, and a mini bit driver set. It's interesting looking at this mini quarter-inch drive set. It was interesting until I noticed that it's actually only in standard. Which, if you're going to store it in a car, you'd want it to be in metric, because most cars are, let's be frank, these days, use metric sockets and bolts. And then over here, this is an interesting one. We've got this interchangeable ratcheting wrench set that also has an incorporated flex head I think this might be a little bit of a gimmick. I didn't actually find a price on it. They did have this in metric and standard. This is probably the best of the couple of the new tools that I found here. Now here's the red and black tool chest. When I did my Lowe's video a while back, I showed you the Lowe's version of this. This is actually a much better quality version than what is being sold at Lowe's these days. The drawers and everything about this one is a much higher quality than what's being sourced by Lowe's, and it just has a better look to it. I think it's slightly deeper. There's the pegs there on the side, and I think this is a deeper drawer. And as you pull out the top drawer here, this work surface is bigger, and in the back you can see with that yellow sticker is the lock mechanism you can use to hold this actually out if you're writing on that little lift-up lid. I'm almost positive this is a deeper drawer. It still has double slides on the side. You can flip it up there. There's a little weight there. It's supposed to show it can hold the weight of your sockets that are in there, or at least some other heavy-duty tools. This display model actually has some of the power tool drawer stuff on the side. Not sure why, but again, it's just a display. Pull this out. We got some almost full extension drawers. All around, I think this is actually a pretty good toolbox for what you get. And just looking at this over the last year and a half that they've had it, the availability has come and went. We've got a couple of these folding creepers here. Some snow blowers. There used to be a much larger selection sold at Sears than what's being sold now. They've really cut back on their item count and their inventory. Used to love walking around Sears and just seeing just the vast inventory. Hiding here is the brand new storage seat with 2 drawers. This is one of their newer tools, if you will, as well. It's actually kind of a neat idea. I kind of like it. Although I've seen it rebranded with a couple other different brands before. Some other wrench selections here. Some Craftsman Evolve budget tools. More gear wrench. Some ratcheting wrenches. And here's a locking flex head wrench set. A large ratcheting wrench set on display. Crow's foot line wrenches, a 3/4 inch socket set there below. But again, looking at all these holes here, this is just not the experience I expect to find at a Sears. I want to see inventory, I want to see product, I want to see the setup well, and not have all these gaps from where everything used to be in yesteryear. We've got a selection of trimmers here, gas and electric, 2-cycle and 4-cycle. Not sure how these compare. These used to all be made by MTD, but I'm quite sure these are no longer MTD made. I could be wrong about that. If you've got some ideas on who's making these now, or maybe it's Weed Eater. I know they've made some tools in the past for Craftsman. That's their OEM. And now we've got some tool sheds over here. This would have been a sprawling area, but it's pretty sad. We just got a couple storage sheds on display, surrounded by some workout equipment. And again, look at these empty racks and shelves. It's just not the full store that it used to be. I know I'm a little old-fashioned. Here's a stack here of some shelves that you can use or buy to put in your storage units. Here's your Nordic Tracks, your workout equipment here. Again, you can see those empty shelves up there. And now if we keep going back here, we can find some Craftsman apparel. Here we've got a bunch of work apparel, work jackets, work shirts, quite a bit of socks. I guess for some reason Craftsman or Sears thinks that Craftsman branded socks are a great idea. I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but I mean, they're socks, so I'm okay with it. There's some flannel jackets, some fleece jackets here. It was interesting just looking at this product here and a handful of these other ones here, trying to find the Craftsman branding. It was buried and it was kind of minimalistic at the very bottom. And going through the back of my mind looking at it was, if Sears went bankrupt and the original supplier of these had to recall the items, could they rebrand them with something else? I would say easily they could. And I have to wonder if that's part of the minimalistic Craftsman branding on it. That's branded just enough to say it's Craftsman. Here's another little rack here hidden away with some other cold weather jackets. It's just interesting how they're just basically trying to find space in the store here to kind of fill it with whatever they can, or racks. But they've got, there's a terminal there. Ooh, a human resources office. This is vacant. There's a leather couch and American flag. I'm not sure what's going on there. Another office. This one actually still has a Sears optical in it. I'm not sure how many of those are still left. If your Sears has a Sears optical, put a comment below. I think they're really phasing that out, as well as like Sears Portrait Studios. You used to even be able to get your hair done, or at least women could get their hair done at Sears. There's a kayak there on the side. Now looking a little more at some of the clothing up here. Went upstairs to take a look around. The clothing area looked like it was pretty full and had quite a wide display. Coming down the escalator here, if you look at the floors and what you see as you come down, you can see there's a few marks here. It's just not as clean and upkept as stores used to have been. On the left over here was surprising here. They actually still had a toy section here. Looked quite picked over. I know Target has really picked up on the toy sales lately. And then this one has the mattress selection, quite a decent vacuum cleaner selection. Now Sears used to also sell electronics. This one has gotten rid of that. You can find your microwaves. And now there's this whole made on, as seen on TV section, which is basically your gimmicky products to stay away from. But they're at least worth a good laugh every now and then, because you might have seen the infomercials for these and you can actually pick up and see them and decide if it's a joke or not. Like those flex hoses, don't even think about it. They're just garbage. So as we look around here, you can see they're at least trying to give the appearance that there's products all around here, vacant shelves. Again, this was the day after Black Friday, but I'm doubtful how much of this was the result of Black Friday. We've got a small bare bones furniture selection. We've got a few other appliances. You know, as we look around, we can see that they're really trying to do their best to make it look like it's a full store. And for some reason, I feel like Sears is trying to lean heavily on mattresses and appliances. I mean, to be fair, appliances have always been their strong suit with the Kenmore brand. And Kenmore is still actually owned by Sears, but it's really nothing but rebranded Whirlpool and a handful of other electronic manufacturers' brands. But this one had quite a display of various Kenmore, Whirlpool, GE products, GE Cafe. Now, as we come back into the tool section here, there's some edgers. We got some garden tillers and the heavy-duty garden tiller. You don't find that in many Sears anymore. Pliers. Now, this open area here that has these bins used to have all the table saws. It used to have the lathes. This store used to have one of the only stores that had a full collection of lathes. Once upon a time, these ratcheting wrench sets and the empty spots there. We can really see what's selling, what's not selling, and what Sears is valuing. There's actually a full selection of the magnetic socket holders. You can see by that black packaging that that's a legacy product from quite a few years ago. Large bit set. I mean, everyone can always use more screwdriver bits. It's an easy, cheap gift to give, or just buy for yourself. And as we walk around, you can see there's the sockets and some various socket set configurations. What I didn't really see a lot of was like 8-point sockets when I dug through there. Open stock sockets. I mean, I've got to give them credit. This is probably still the best open stock socket selection you'll find anywhere. I'm not a huge fan of what Lowe's and Home Depot have for their open stock sockets. Maybe the best rivalry now possibly is Menards. Check out my Menards video. You can see their open stock sockets. We've got shop vacs. On the left is the extreme grip tools, some die-hard batteries, lights, electric meters. What's missing here is our non-contact voltage detectors. Lately, Sears has done a complete overhaul of that piece of the Craftsman line. Now we actually have a Porter cable Pancake air compressor, and the air tools seem to be really getting scaled back. But to be fair, I think that's par for the course given the state of the tool industry and what battery tools can do in 2018. So that's our look at the Sears at the Town East Shopping Mall in Wichita, Kansas. Found this video useful or interesting? Put a comment below about your favorite Sears memory, and check back here for more fun videos coming up. And have a great day. Bye.